Greetings from St. Joseph College of Communication, Department of Commerce. My name is Joseph Sam. We are in semester 3 and this year we have 6 subjects. And of the 6 subjects, one is optional subject for finance and taxation. The subject that we need to study as optional is goods and services tax. We have 4 credit points and the instructional hours 90. The course objective is to give you a general understanding of the GST law in the country with a practical perspective and employability of you in the commercial tax practices. And in module 1, it deals with the introductory part, the methodology, and the constitutional background and the definitions of important terms. So in goods and services tax, the term what is tax comes first. Taxes in India. So let us begin with knowing what is tax. It is a compulsory contribution to state revenue levied by the government on workers' income and business profits or added to the cost of some goods, services and transactions to fund government spending and various public expenditures. That means it is a compulsory contribution, means that it is mandatory. That means this is to be paid, the tax is to be paid by whom? By the citizens. This is paid to state revenue. This is levied by the government on workers' income, business profits, and also it is added to goods, services and transactions. What is the purpose of it? To fund government spending and various public expenditures. That means if you have an income, if you are a salaried person, you need to pay tax. If you are running a business, you need to pay tax on your business income. Whenever you make a purchase, when you buy any product, you will have to pay tax. Whenever you get a service, you have to pay tax. Whenever you do a transaction, then you need to pay tax. So that means knowingly or unknowingly, we are paying tax. If so, what are the taxes in India? Tax in India is either direct or indirect. Direct tax, it is income tax. You might have heard of it. And this income tax or direct tax we will study in semester 5 and 6. And the indirect tax, which we are studying now. Then what is direct tax? Of course, we are studying in semester 5. Just good to know what is it. Direct tax is a tax that the taxpayer pays directly to the government. That means these taxes cannot be shifted from one person to another person. Again, the incidence and impact are on the same person. So direct tax means the incidence is on one person and the impact also is on the same person. Say for example, John is a salaried person, John has to pay tax on his income. He cannot shift his liability to anybody else. But in the case of indirect tax, which we are studying now, it is one that can be passed on from one person to another person, shifted to one person to another person. That means the incidence is on one person and the impact is on another person. Say for example, in the case of John, who is running a business, the incidence is on John because he gets business profit. But he can shift the payment of tax to another person. That means the impact to another person. Again, John is running the business, he is getting profit. Whenever he makes a sale, the buyer pays the tax. That means the incidence is on John, impact is on the consumer. So that is the difference between direct tax and indirect tax. The liability can be shifted in the case of direct tax, but in direct tax the liability cannot be shifted, but in the case of indirect tax the liability can be shifted or is shifted from one person to another person. Then what are the taxes in India? Just have a look at the chart that is given, which we have seen already, direct tax and indirect tax. So direct tax is of course income tax, indirect tax GST, goods and services tax, which we are studying in this semester. So in the chart you will find in indirect tax 2 frames. One, it is written center and in the other it is written state. That means these were the taxes that were existing before GST coming into existence in 2017. At the center, service tax was there, excise duty was there, customs duty was there, central taxes were there, and also at the state level, what was there? entry tax was there, octroi was there, luxury tax was there. So all these taxes that were existing at the center and the state, that comes under now GST. That means in one way you are lucky. All those students before you, before 2017, they had to study all these taxes separately and the rates separately. Now you need to study only GST. That means everything comes under GST. So under GST, indirect tax it comes GST, and indirect tax, income tax. Then goods and services tax. So simply if we say goods and services tax, it is tax on goods and services. Tax on goods and services. So this is known as indirect tax, as I told you, and it came into force from 1st July 2017. That means GST came to force in India on July 1st, 2017. And the Goods and Services Tax Act was passed in the Parliament on 29th March 2017. That means it is very recent. And this law has replaced, as I told you before, and as you have seen in the chart, all the other taxes, indirect taxes that were existing in India. So have a look at that diagram that is there on the screen. GST divided into intrastate movement and interstate movement. Intrastate movement means within the state. Interstate movement means movement of goods from one state to another state. Then goods and services tax. It is a destination tax or destination-based tax. So what do you mean by destination-based tax? That means tax is levied at the place where goods and services are consumed. Tax is levied at the place where this is consumed. That is what is meant by destination tax. So something very interesting. We may have the impression that the tax, this GST is paid by the business people. GST is not paid by the business people. GST is paid by the consumers. The whole burden of GST comes on consumers. So when we buy goods, we get a service, we do a transaction, we pay the tax. What the business people do, they just collect it. They just collect it and give it to the government. In common parlance, people have the impression that the business people are paying GST. No, we are paying GST. That is why it is called destination-based tax. So destination. Destination means where the goods reach and who buys it for consuming it. Then this chart we have seen before. Taxes subsumed or absorbed under GST. These taxes are absorbed by GST, so replaced by GST. As I told you before, service tax, excise duty, central tax, customs duty. Central tax means central sales tax. At the state level, VAT, entry tax, octroi, luxury tax. So these are the taxes that are subsumed. Subsumed means absorbed. So absorbed by GST. Or when GST came into force, these taxes are not there anymore. There are some exceptions to it. Probably you may be reading in newspapers every day, especially now when the petrol price is going up, that GST is to be implemented or should be implemented for petrol products or petroleum products. Commodities kept outside GST. Alcohol for human consumption, petroleum products, and electricity. Why alcohol for human consumption, petroleum products, and electricity is kept outside GST? Because when we go forward, we will see that the percentage of tax that is levied on goods, of course, zero rated products are there, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. So the maximum tax that can be levied under GST is 28% at the moment. So the tax levied for alcohol, as you know, I don't want to say the percentage, you read it every day in the newspaper. It is quite alarming. And also for petroleum products, that also every day we are reading it now. The price is going up and is about to reach, maybe it may reach 100 per liter for diesel and petrol. Diesel and petrol, the price is more or less the same now. So the reason why this is kept outside GST is that the government raises tax on these products as and when they wish, not the wish of the people, according to the wish of the government. Then what are the laws governing GST in India? the Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, that is CGST Act 2017, the Integrated Goods and Services Tax 2017, IGST Act 2017. The Union Territory Goods and Services Tax 2017, the Goods and Services Tax GST Compensation to the States Act 2017. So what you can notice there is, all these acts have been passed in the year 2017. CGST, IGST, UTGST and GST. Then what is CGST? CGST is an act to make a provision for levy and collection of tax on intra-state supply of goods or services, or both, by the central government and matters connected therewith or incidental to it. Levy and collection of tax on intra-state supply of goods and services. So intra-state supply, as I told you before, it is supply of goods within the state. Supply of goods within the state. So the example given there, transfer of goods from Kochi to Kannur, it is intra-state supply. So there CGST and SGST comes in. Then IGST. So CGST, if it is intra-state, IGST is interstate. Movement of goods, tax levied on the movement of goods from one state to another state. Say for example, movement of goods from Kochi to Chennai, IGST comes in. Interstate supply. IGST Act 2017 apply where goods move from one state to another state. Then comes the Union Territory Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. So for Union Territories, separate act has been passed, UTGST Act 2017. So in the Union Territories like Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Chandigarh and other territories. So there UTGST Act 2017 applies. Then the Goods and Services Tax Compensation to the States Act, GST Compensation to the States Act. Then why it is called Compensation to the States Act? GST is an act to provide for compensation to the states for the loss of revenue arising on account of implementation of the Goods and Services Tax in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution. 101st Amendment Act 2016, it extends to the whole of India. So to provide compensation to the states. For what? For the loss of revenue arising on account of implementation of GST Act. So that means on account of the implementation of GST Act, as we have seen before, there are certain taxes that have been subsumed into GST, and because of that the state is suffering. So any suffering that the state is having, they are paid compensation. So a separate act has been passed to that any loss of the state will be compensated. Then intrastate stock transfer. So what do you mean by intrastate stock transfer? Actually I told you, again just have a look at intrastate stock transfer is taxable only when an entity has more than one registration in one state. Intrastate stock transfer is taxable only when an entity has more than one registration in one state. That means if a business is having a godown, say for example, a business at Kochi is having a godown at Calicut, under the same registration, no tax is levied for the movement of goods. So in intrastate, within the state, the movement will be taxed only if the factory and the warehouse located in the same state, but the warehouse is having a separate registration. For any reason, if they prefer to register separately, then GST attracts. Then interstate stock transfer. In the case of interstate stock transfer, IGST will be levied. Interstate stock transfer, IGST will be levied. Say for example, John Trading Company has the head office in Kerala and the branch office in Tamil Nadu. Stock transfer between head office and branch office at the interstate level, IGST will be levied. So, though the business which is running in Kerala, having a branch office outside the state, though it is under the same ownership or management, IGST will apply. That means tax has to be paid. Imports. What about imports? That means bringing goods from another country to our country. What is the tax implication? In the case of imports, IGST will be levied on import of goods into the country. That is something which you need to pay special attention. In the case of imports, IGST has to be levied on the import of goods. The incidence of tax, of course, in the case of import takes place at the place where this is consumed. In the case of exports, I told you before that GST is a destination-based tax. So if GST is destination-based tax, then how can we levy tax in the case of exports? Because the destination is a country other than India. That means outside India. Goods are sent outside India. Hence, no tax is levied on exports. So just please note, in the case of exports, GST being destination-based tax, no tax is levied because no tax can be levied. So we cannot collect a tax from outside for their purchases and get in India, and hence no tax for exports. Of course, it is an incentive to give an incentive to the business people who are exporting goods from our country to other countries and earning foreign revenue, foreign money. Yes, so if we recap what we have seen so far, we have seen what is meant by GST. GST, we have seen CGST, IGST, UTGST, and GST Compensation Act. And as we have seen again, GST is an indirect tax. So we will continue this class in the next session. So see that you study this topic, listen to it, and if you have any doubt, you come back to me, send your doubts to me in my number or in our group number, doesn't matter, and I will reply accordingly. And the questions on this topic, the first area, will be sent to you in our Google Classroom format. Thank you.